There. Got to make sure the hood looks good, whether it's your own hood, your neighborhood, or your Buddha hood. It's my little Acolyte cosplay I wanted to put on. Acolyte's a role on Hamza server, for those of you who don't know, of people who are a little more progressed in their self-improvement journey than people that are just starting out. And I'm very happy and grateful to have achieved that. So I want to put this on. However, green is a much more favorite color of mine than blue is, so there you go. Anyways, this is my submission for Hamza's contest that he's running till the end of October, where we talk about self-improvement and before and after, and the time in between when you were watching Hamza's videos, right? And the point you can get to where you stop watching them. So since this is a sort of illustrate my life video, even through talking you can illustrate your life, right? And that's kind of what this is illustration of your life. I wanted to sort of do this in the style of Draw My Life videos that got really popular 8 to 9 years ago. But I'm a creative and a big fan of sculpture and stop motion animation. So I thought I could combine that style into the Draw My Life style to talk about it and tell my story with clay. Thanks for watching. Please watch to the end. I was born into a family of creatively passionate people. My mom, the art appraiser, my father, the computer programmer, my aunt, the accordion player and nurse, my uncle, a guitar player and carpenter who built his own house, and both my grandfathers who loved to make wood carvings and sculptures. My father's father was also a well-practiced Shakespearean actor, and later in life, a polyglot, who would practice his talent at every chance he had, even ordering from Indian restaurants in Hindi from time to time. Naturally, all of this gave me many opportunities to learn what it means to truly be creative. I found appreciation for film, painting, photography, music, and literature. I was very impressed with my dad's ability to use technology to be creative, as he would make games and promotional software for very famous people like Brian Eno, Les Claypool, and David Bowie, just to name a few. Over the years, I tried out many things he made and further expanded my love and understanding of art and music through them, and stimulated my creative endeavors. When I wasn't gaming or making art and music, I would journal, read, and be present in nature. However, like all kids in America, I had to go through the process of participation in society and workforce. In America, to work most any job, they expect what's called a high school diploma from you. For my early years of school, I was lucky enough to do schooling that was useful to me, and I got to learn Japanese and go to Japan. But going through school after that, most of my schooling wasn't useful to the life and knowledge and skills that I wanted. I did get to learn a bit more about music and how to play guitar, but I knew how chaotic the world was getting around me as I got older, and I engaged in a lot of bad habits because of that stress. The summer after I managed to get a high school diploma, I had some pretty bad mental health issues. I had no training to deal with them, but I needed to do something with my life. I decided to go to college and learn more about guitar. Luckily, while I was there, I made a new friend who introduced me to Nichiren Buddhism. I took time to learn how to use Buddhism in practice with daily life. I started what would be classified as a Mahayana mantra meditation practice that the religious organization I subscribe to, Soka Gakkai International, called chanting, in which I would learn to recite parts of the Lotus Sutra in between repeating the mantra Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. The first time I recited this mantra, while facing the mandala called the Gohonzon, I remembered the first time I watched someone perform a card trick, and the first time I was many in body, one in mind, with a crowd at a great concert performed by a band called Revolution. I was in complete awe. A little while later, I recited the sutras of chapter 2 and 16 of the Lotus Sutra in Japanese with others, and felt the single most wonderful dopamine rush I'd ever felt up to that point. It was a feeling of great inner peace, a great calming clarity and spaciousness of my mind. I continued to learn to truly practice Buddhism and apply this faith to my daily life. But this was a lifelong process. At the time, I didn't always feel so comfortable sharing with others. I had very little understanding of the science behind meditation, so my practice felt esoteric, at least to me. Even though I had Buddhism in my life, I was still holding on to bad habits. I tried to go to college and learn a skill I could monetize, but I couldn't find a passion which I was passionate enough about, so I failed several classes. I did get a chance to be on the radio though, which I did very much enjoy. During this time, I found skill and passion for public speaking and managerial leadership to produce with others. Eventually, I had to leave this behind, since it was only a volunteer job and I needed to make money to support myself and family. But I could not find a well-paying job, which would also enable me to practice creativity without sacrificing my time, mental health, and masculinity. After working a factory job for Tesla for several months, I had realized to my horror I had gotten delirium from working 12-hour shifts through the night, starting at 7 p.m. and ending at 7 a.m., 3 to 4 days a week. This became my final straw and I quit, because no amount of money was worth what I was sacrificing. In the following months, I felt rather hopeless and useless. Even though Elon's company had paid me enough that I had some decent amount of savings, I still felt defeated by the world and myself, like I had let myself down. One day, while browsing YouTube in hopes of finding self-help and a method to undo the damage I had put on myself from dealing with my trauma and ADHD via inappropriate means, I found Hamza's video discussing mindfulness being taught in schools. His words opened my eyes to how destructive of youth our modern world has become. As I continued to watch his videos, I realized that these concepts were what I truly needed to expand my life condition, and that to practice self-improvement is to practice Buddhism. They are one and the same. The fact that you are alive is a treasure greater than all the treasures of a storehouse or corporation could provide. In order to truly treasure that, it is necessary that we self-improve. Because if we have a life we truly love in all its aspects, as it constantly improves, the world and people in it will not only love us in return, but also be inspired by the greatness we show them. I now no longer chase cheap dopamine, especially that from cannabis, nicotine, alcohol, or psychedelics. And because of this release of attachment to these things, I'm more motivated and energetic to do the things I've always wanted to do without being doubtful or feeling hauled down by anything. I realize that my practice of Buddhism has given me more understanding of both mindfulness and awareness than most people have in our modern world. Since I've started self-improvement, I've earned a lot more respect from the people in my religious organization. Doing volunteer work for them has been much more fulfilling because I've been keeping to a healthy, beneficial Ayurvedic diet and working out at home to build a body I am proud of and not ashamed of. I've really enjoyed being on Hamza's Discord, sharing my almost decade of meditation experience, understanding of mindfulness, awareness, karma, and dharma, as well as getting advice from others on things I'm not very good at. I'm much more suited to this life than my old life as a gamer and anti-socialite. I have big plans to build up business, and I actually feel excited for what I have coming up. My Jeffrey friends, if you will, whom I used to game with, are willing to help me by joining me on self-improvement and helping to moderate a Discord I can use to leverage skills I can monetize, in addition to making YouTube videos and Rumble videos with the community. All in all, I'm happy to live life the way I do and be producing via the transmission of creative thoughts and energy rather than just consuming with it, And self-improvement gives me the ability to use the energy I have to do what I truly want, which is to live a life that's worth it. A life with the skills of leadership, discipline, humility, gratitude, presence. A life embodied by fitness, diet, good mental health, good relationships, and a great career. If you made it to the end of this video, and you're doubtful of my words and their meaning, or you haven't started your self-improvement journey for any reason, I will leave you with this analogy. A crab who is caught, but makes it out of the bucket he or she is placed in, and can strongly fight off the other crabs who want to pull it back in with them, so they are not alone, and then gets onto the pier to get past the fisherman who caught it in the first place, who seems much more powerful than the crab is, and could easily pick it up and set it back in the bucket. That crab can get back into the water it was originally from, and then find oysters, which they can crack open with their claws, revealing to them an unlimited supply of pearls. So please, go forth on your journey as a hero to the world, for the world is your oyster. And there is great reward to be had from the pearls of knowledge you receive by opening it. To fill yourself with this understanding is to truly love yourself and the world you inhabit, so it may love you in return. Thanks for listening.